So you're helping with people catch up, though, and that's kind of how we were initially introduced. Is your series "Things Not to Say to a Caregiver"? Before we really dive into that, though, when you're on this caregiving journey for your mom, one, obviously it's extremely emotional, it's difficult, and eventually, that caregiving journey does come to an end, sadly. When did you decide, what, I'm going to continue advocacy and, commit myself to the caregiving space and helping other caregivers? A lot of people kind of return and go back to what life was somewhat like before they became a family caregiver, but you decided to kind of stay in the thick of it. What led you to want to stay in the thick of these things?
Well, I call myself an accidental advocate because I didn't even know that I was advocating. I was just speaking the truth and quite boldly, probably. You know me a little bit. You can probably believe that. Uh, but we were in the system, we were navigating this situation, and I was never rude or unfriendly because as a producer, I know that that doesn't really get you very far. You need a lot of things and you need people to want to give you those things. But I would just be very curious and point things out that were true. And then things started coming my way like, hey, this group needs to hear from a caregiver. Would you speak to this group? Or be a patient advisor, caregiver advisor, or we have a seniors advocate here in BC, which is a government job, but at least we have somebody.
Mhm.
We just had someone really great for many years, and she retired. But I helped weigh in on a home support survey and just kind of doing all these things. So I became an advocate accidentally. And of course, while I was navigating being in the hospital or just accessing services like I that was advocating. And after mom left, I just kind of felt, well, mom didn't go through this for nothing. She would Mom would give you the shirt off her back if it was the last thing she had. She would help anybody.
Mm.
And she would want what her lived experience to help other people. And that's why I share our story. I speak up, I speak out. And I won't stop doing that unless people are like really rejecting me, Lance. But so far, no, but even if so, maybe that just means there's something that really needs to be said, that people just don't want to hear. But I kind of look at it as it's my mom would want this to continue.
Right.
I have more time now, that I'm not a 24/7 caregiver, so I have more ability to do that. And so many people did come out of the woodworks and help us in little ways. And we're all going to need care.
Yeah.
We're all going to need care. So it could even be selfish. Like I'm doing it for me.
Right.
Like in 20 years, I might be there too, or less. You never know. So we really need things to change as a society.